A grainy black and white photo is the lasting image of a little boy who disappeared more than 70 years ago. Jackie Theel was just 6 years old when he vanished.
His case grabbed newspaper headlines 45 years before Jacob Wetterling disappeared.
Tonight, A.J. Legault investigates what happened to Jackie.
September 1944. War news dominates headlines. The Allies begin their push into Germany and Holland.
We've been flying straight into Holland now for something like 20 minutes.
Edward R. Murrow's reports have ears on the home front glued to the radio. But in central Minnesota, another story is also front page.
I mean, the town basically shut down.
As the entire town of Painesville stops to search for a missing 6-year-old boy.
It was in the papers, broadcast on the radio.
For Painesville Museum Director Brian Haynes, his small hometown holds few mysteries.
Something like this was huge news.
And certainly none is big,
Unfortunately.
or as tragic,
Unfortunately, yeah.
as the mystery of Jackie Theel.
Nobody knows to this day what happened.
So what is known? What happened on that first day of school, September 5th, 1944?
Nobody's seen him since.
Very few still alive know the story
He just disappeared.
quite as well as Judy Esplin.
They did searches, the whole town.
Judy has collected every old newspaper clipping that can be found about Jackie Theel.
There's so much of this stuff.
But for Judy, Jackie's story is not the ancient kind of history.
It's been a long time.
It's the family kind.
Jackie, my brother. He was 6 years old. I'm the youngest of the 15. Jackie was gone 5 years before I was even born. I heard the stories from my mother and my dad.
So here's the story. Jackie's first day of school, in first grade, was also his last. His mom sent him with a note saying an older brother would pick him up, but when class let out, the teacher, on her first day on the job, allowed him to leave on his own.
And that was it. Nobody ever seen him.
When he didn't come home, his mom called the sheriff. That led to a massive search, from Boy Scouts to bloodhounds. Even the Civil Air Patrol was called in. It was the bloodhound that led to the only clue, a scent trail as only a wandering 6-year-old could make it, leading away from the school.
And the bloodhounds trailed him down to the river, away from the river, through the west end of town, and out into the ditch along Highway 23, where the scent just vanished.
A couple of people had said they had seen a little boy standing alongside the road crying, and then someone else seeing him get into a car.
There was strong speculation that decades before Jacob, little Jackie had been abducted.
Lots of speculation, lots of rumors, but, you know, nobody knows.
Newspaper archives detail the search, hitting one dead end after the other.
Weeks hunt inch by inch for boy fails.
No real leads, no body,
No clues.
just a school with an empty desk and a family with a glaring hole.
My mother went through all kinds of hell over this.
The Stearns County Sheriff says their law enforcement records from the time no longer exist. The BCA tells us they weren't the investigating agency and have no records. In fact, the BCA does not even list Jackie on their official Missing Persons Clearinghouse website.
This is the original missing person poster.
But Jackie's mom kept this original BCA missing poster, complete with a case number on it, in her Bible until the day she died. For Judy, the poster and old news clippings are a link to a big brother
I'm sorry.
she never got to know,
It just affects you.
but refuses to give up hope of one day meeting.
I don't think you ever give up. You know?
If Jackie Theel is still alive, he'd be 77 years old. The arrest of a former Painesville man named a person of interest by state and federal investigators in the Jacob Wetterling disappearance has rekindled interest in Jackie's case. Now, Danny Heinrich wasn't even born when Jackie disappeared, but as we covered his arrest, people in Painesville told us, you know, you should do a story about our area's other missing boy, and that's the story.
Wow, and you think about how she didn't know her brother, but how that affected her parenting, how she was parented. I'm sure her parents had to
she said it
withdraw in
changed the
some
way
way.
she parented, even being
Right.
worried about sending her kids off to school, just knowing that was in the family history, you know, it was something that was just ingrained.
And you said it was Was it more than just family members that asked you to look into this, or were there other people in
Oh,
Painesville?
this was just this was people in Painesville that
so
just
they
said,
still
"Hey, you
remember.
know,
Yeah.
we had another missing boy in this town." So it's still very ingrained in the town's fabric. There was more than one person who knew about it. And when our stories started running this morning, kind of promoting tonight's story, we received a call this afternoon from a gentleman who was the same age as Jackie and sat behind him in class that first day.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's not something you forget easily.
No, he said it tore that class up.
All right.
Wow.
Thanks so much,
Thanks,
AJ.